My name is Frank W. Bowden III, and I am a cornea, cataract, refractive, and cataract glaucoma surgeon in Jacksonville, Florida. I've been in Jacksonville for 30 years, and we have a comprehensive practice with a heavy emphasis on the cornea. All my MDs are cornea specialists, and we have 4 employed optometrists in our practice that allow us to support 3 office locations and an ambulatory surgery center. So we have quite a little operation going on. I've been using amniograph in the surgical suite for pterygium excision, for conjunctival chalasis, tear reservoir restoration procedures for conjunctival chalasis, probably for the past 11 years. And I've been using PROKERA since it became available about 8 years ago. And these tools have been, very, very helpful in recent years for expanding our care for dry eye and to hasten the optimization of the ocular surface for patients preparing for cataract surgery, patients preparing for corneal transplant surgery, in which there's a hostile ocular surface environment that, if we can quiet it down, it can enhance the success of the corneal transplant procedure. My understanding with the cryopreservation process is that it is very, very effective in preserving some of the critical components that are necessary to promote rapid healing through the mechanism of reduced inflammation. In particular, the molecule or complex HCH3, heavy chain hyaluronic acid, pentraxin, is has been identified as the active component that is preserved with cryopreservation, that is not necessarily preserved in high levels with dehydration, dehydrated amniotic membrane tissue. With the lyophilized amniotic membrane tissue, I find that it's very, very helpful as a scaffolding material, providing some of the biological proteins promoting healing, but it does not have as much of an anti-inflammatory effect, much more than a bandage contact lens. So when I'm dealing with an ocular surface environment that's associated with inflammation, such as a persistent epithelial defect, meibomian gland dysfunction with severe deficiency of the lipid layer and instability of the tear layer that results in surface breakdown, injury, and the like. This is an environment that promotes inflammation. So the PROKERA device has been particularly useful in the office as a means to effectively reduce ocular surface inflammation, much more effective than the dehydrated products. I have had several over the years. One that comes to mind is a patient that had bilateral chemical burns in which I had to essentially resurface the palpebral and the bulbar conjunctival and corneal surfaces with sheets of amniograft and suture that through in a full thickness fashion to essentially redefine the fornices and to drape over the lid margin and the like for both eyes. That particular patient was able to recover vision after a lengthy process of penetrating keratoplasty following reepithelialization of the surface and preservation of the fornices, and with restoration of the lacrimal function unit components. I mean, the patient had effectively stem cell expansion in the process. It was very amazing. The patient actually underwent conjunctival limbal allograft transfer from a living related donor, in which I used amniograph again to help with that limbal stem cell expansion in both eyes. And all of this was prior to the penetrating keratoplasty. And for a number of years, the patient preserved like 20/30, 20/40 vision in both of their eyes. And it's now been about 14 years since I've had that encounter with the patient. And I've had to essentially utilize PROKERAs periodically to manage the partial limbal stem cell deficiency in that case. And the patient recently underwent a corneal transplant about 6 months ago and recovered 20/30 vision, their pseudophakic eye, and it's just a case that has involved multiple applications of amniotic membrane tissue, cryopreserved amniotic membrane tissue, to essentially enable that man to spend the last 15 years with functional, useful vision that otherwise would have been lost without that intervention.